friends! It has been a long time, I feel like, since I've done a vlog. But I thought this week I'm very much in the mood after having 10 days of being really ill with a double ear infection. I still can't hear out of this ear, but I'm like miles better than I was. I didn't realise quite how unwell I was until today. I went back to work and I'm feeling so much more like myself, and I was at work and I was like, you know what, when I get home I want to vlog. So this week I will be doing a kind of week in my life reading vlog slash reading routine video. I've been wanting to do a reading routine video for quite a while, but wasn't sure on the format, so we're just gonna roll with it. It's gonna be a vlog format, mainly because this week I do also want to finish off some of my currently reading books. Does that make sense? My current reads, I guess, because they've kind of like piled up again as they normally do, and you will soon find out why that happens because of the way I read. So let's go on this fun journey and follow me this week and my reading routine journey thing. Yay! I'm still in the kitchen, but as it is Monday, sometimes when I've got loads of energy and I've got the food in my fridge or freezer, I like to do a big kind of cook on a Monday after work that will keep me running for the rest of the week. So today I'm going to make a spaghetti bolognese and I'm really excited because I feel like I haven't cooked in ages. So that's what I'm going to be doing first. While I'm cooking, I'm just going to put my apron on. I do like to listen to an audiobook, so that is one of the ways I like to read. Is I normally always have at least one audiobook on the go. I don't normally have two. It is normally just the one audiobook. I do mainly listen to non-fiction books on audiobook. Sorry, I got distracted by putting my apron on. But yes, I like listening to audiobooks when I'm doing things like cooking, cleaning, washing up, housework, putting things away, sometimes getting ready for work in the morning, and walking. I love listening to audiobooks while I'm walking. It's probably one of my favourite things, and one thing I'm kind of sad about, that in the pandemic I loved doing on the really long walks I would go on when the only time you could leave the house, I was just audiobooking all the time. And I kind of miss that because I don't do as many walks anymore because work is literally a 7-minute walk down the road, so I don't really have the reason to go on a walk. So I do want to start implementing maybe more walks into my like weekly routine when it starts to get lighter again, maybe, so I can do some more audiobook walking, because like I say, I really love doing that. But I am getting hungry, so I'm gonna go and make my spaghetti bolognese.
About it right now, everything's okay. No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all, everything's actually all right. You're okay. You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. If you have something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging, painful, it's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself.
Only in passing in these same articles was the story of a patient asserting his sanity in the strongest.
So my main tasks for today or this evening are done. I made my spaghetti bolognese, but I've left it to like stew overnight, so I didn't actually end up having that for dinner. I ended up having gnocchi, which was just a quick and easy thing to make. I watched an episode of Daisy Jones and the Six, or should I say rewatched an episode, because I think I'm on like my second or third rewatch now of like the first 6 episodes. because I'm literally loving it so much that I cannot stand the whole having to wait until Friday for 3 new episodes. So I think I've watched the first 3 episodes at least 3 times already, and I'm on my second rewatch of the last 3 episodes. Loving it. It's amazing. It's changing my life. Adore it. Adore everything about it. It's fantastic. But yes, so I watched an episode of that while I was cooking my dinner, or eating my dinner even, and I put away all of my clothes as well, and I've listened to a good chunk of my audiobook today, so I've only got an hour and 45 minutes left before I finish that, so I'll definitely be able to do that at some point this week, which is exciting. But now we are on to a different part of my reading routine, because it is the evening, and I do like to read at least a little bit, even if it's just 2 pages before I go to bed or before I go to sleep. But I do find I can't read for a really long time before I go to sleep because I just get tired and sleepy. So the book that I normally have on my bedside table that is just specifically for reading before I go to bed is normally something that I can read in snippets. So normally a poetry book. At the moment, I am currently reading a poetry book that I got gifted for Christmas by my mum. Called You'll Never Walk Alone by Rachel Kelly, and it's for poems for life's ups and downs, and it's really great. It is sort of poems under different seasons and how the seasons can affect our mood, and it's been fantastic. But again, I am also nearing the end of it, so I've actually only got a few poems left before I'm finished. I've got about 10 or so poems before I'm finished, so I'm just gonna read a couple of poems now before I go to sleep. So I've just got home from work, day 2, and today I'm going to be doing some reading sprints with Shah from 7 o'clock this evening, which I'm really looking forward to. It's what got me through the day at work today, because it was just one of those days. So I'm really looking forward to just chilling, relaxing, getting cozy and reading. The book that I plan to focus on reading specifically for the reading sprints is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like I've been reading this for a really long time and I'm not that far through it. I'm not even halfway yet. So I'm hoping that the reading sprints will help me push through, maybe get to the halfway mark with this. But I'm going to go now because I want to get some food before the sprints start, but I may see you there. So this is the first time in the entire week where I've actually managed to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I do normally like to get up quite early, so I can have a lot of time, roughly 45 minutes to an hour, to just stay in bed and read, and that's another big part of my reading routine. But unfortunately it is the part of my reading routine I wish I did more. Unfortunately I don't really stick to it as much anymore because I just sleep more than I like the lie-in and the reading. Book I like to read at this time of the morning, it's normally the big chunky book that I am currently reading. So obviously I was reading Rule of Wolves during the reading sprints the other night, and I didn't really explain that along with an audiobook, a poetry book that I like to read before bed, I also normally have a big chunky book that I'm just generally reading throughout the month, and these are the ones that, like I say, I like to get up early in the morning to read a good chunk of. They're the ones that sometimes when I get home from work and I'm in the mood to read, I'll read that. And at the moment it's Rule of Wolves. So yes, I'm going to get back to my reading because I'm at a very interesting chapter. just about to leave to go to town before I have to be at work, and I wanted to share with you the last book that is part of my reading routine, because I'm definitely not going to be filming at work just because that's just not going to happen. So yes, there is a book that I always like to take to read specifically at work, and it's normally a play. So a lot of the time it's obviously a Shakespeare play, but because I'm taking a bit of a break from reading Shakespeare plays at the moment, I'm currently reading An Inspector Calls by J.B. Priestley, and other plays. It's not just An Inspector Calls. So I finished An Inspector Calls at work during my hour lunch break in about like 2.5 days. So that's why I like taking plays with me to work, because I can normally get through them really quickly. But I'm currently reading the only other play I'm actually interested in that's in this collection, which is Time and the Conways. So I'm hoping today, possibly at work, I can finish off that play, and then I will also be done with this one too. It is like an absolutely beautiful spring day out there today, and it's just making me so happy. But I am here to wrap up this reading vlog and let you guys know how I did with my reading. I did actually manage to finish 3 books and make a lot of progress on the big one that I was reading. So to just quickly go through them, I did finish You'll Never Walk Alone, which was the poetry collection I was reading before bed. As I said, I only had like 10 poems left of this, and I did manage to finish them, and it was just such a wholesome poetry collection that is really great for when you're going through different seasons in your life. For example, if you're feeling a bit down because it's winter and you're feeling a bit sad, you can go to the wintry poems and realise that it's okay to be sad because, you know, spring is around the corner. And I just loved everything about this poetry collection. I really want to read more by Rachel Kelly, as she has done a few other anthologies too, so I hope to be able to pick those up in the future. I also managed to finish The Woman They Could Not Silence by Kate Moore, as I only had an hour left to listen to this on audiobook. It wasn't my favourite book by Kate Moore, as obviously Radium Girls was just fantastic and will always be one of my favourite non-fiction books of all time. I did enjoy this a lot more towards the end. But essentially it follows a real life person who I didn't even know existed until I listened to this audiobook, who gets put into an institution in the 1800s by her husband, as was the law then. They were able to put their wives into mental institutions if they started acting in any kind of way that made them think that, you know, their wives were insane, and they could be there until they died. But this one woman was basically very intelligent, and something that her husband did not like. And she was intelligent enough to realise once she got into that institution that there was a lot of other women that shouldn't have been in there, and she wasn't going to allow this to go on anymore. And it was basically her fight for freedom. She got out of the institution, and it's her fight for all these other women as well, and she had laws changed and all these amazing things got put into place because of this one woman. Her name was Elizabeth, but I can't remember her last name right now. But again, I was so surprised that I hadn't heard of her because she'd put in so much change. She also wrote books that were published, and for a woman to do that during this time was also really fascinating. But again, Kate Moore did a really fantastic job of narrating this and writing Elizabeth's story, and she again was writing non-fiction like fiction. There were a few issues I had with it, but overall I did still really enjoy it, and I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. And the other book I finished was An Inspector Calls by J.B. Priestley. I got halfway through Time and the Conways and realised I wasn't that interested in actually finishing the play, and I can of course always go back to this or any other plays by J.B. Priestley that are in here if I want to read them at a later date, but the main reason I bought this was because it had An Inspector Calls in it, as it is still one of my favourite plays of all time. It's probably my favourite play that isn't a Shakespeare play, basically. It's just a fantastic piece of like fiction, and I love reading it. It reads really, really well, and so obviously I gave this one 5 stars, even though I've only read An Inspector Calls, but that was enough to give it 5 stars. And I am so proud of myself because I have read a huge chunk of this, because I've literally got 50 pages left of Rule of Wolves, to the point where I'm probably going to finish it tomorrow or even stay up tonight to finish it. But considering like at the start of this video I hadn't even got halfway through and I felt like it was going to be a slog and it was going to take me ages to finish, and now I've literally got 50 pages left. So yes, I'm very excited to be finishing this one soon too. Thank you guys so much for following my reading routine journey throughout this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment down below if you did enjoy it, and I will hopefully see you soon in my next one.